Well, 0-2 since I went all in.
You
It is the
idiot.
wrap-up show here with John and Jim. Make your way in. Obviously, a disappointing series here against the Rockies. A lot to get into here today. Bullpen fails Dylan Cease. The Padres hit some balls hard, but they lose tonight. 6-3, brought the tying runs to the plate in both the 7th and 8th innings despite falling behind 6-0. So it's the wrap-up show. Please subscribe. Year-round content for Padres fans. Please smash the like button for us. You can follow us on X at John Schaefer, at Jim Russell SD. We appreciate the supers. We'll get to every single super chat here tonight. Just click the $sign below the chat box. But the Padres have fallen under 500. Their home struggles continue. They lose tonight to the Rockies 6-3. The Rockies have won 6 straight. The Padres have lost the first 2 games of the series. They will not win the series. They were a minus 300 favorite tonight with Dylan Cease on the mound opposite Cal Quantrill. They lose as a minus 300 favorite at home. We'll try to salvage the series tomorrow.
I want to start here because I just listened to it. And it was a bunch of fluff about Dylan Cease and blah, 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 whatever, blah, 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 blah. Then Marty asked the question, which I thought was a great question by Marty, to the extent of, is this where you expected to be and what's the expectation going forward? And along the lines of like, you're 1 game under 500. Basically, do you feel like you need to play better baseball? I think that's what it was, the question by Marty. I don't know the exact question. The answer, though, was the ultimate silver lining pathetic bullshit that when this team loses, I hate hearing from Schildt. And instead of saying like, yeah, if we expect to be a playoff team, and I think Kevin also asked a question about like having to beat the Rockies, or having to beat the lesser teams in baseball. And he said something in there, and he goes, yeah, well, we just got finished winning 4 series in a row. First time this team has done that since 2021 or 2022, whatever the year was. So, yeah, I mean, we're playing pretty good baseball and blah, 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 blah. That is the ultimate, like, silver lining bullshit that nobody gives a fuck about. Nobody cares. That's the first time you guys won 4 series in a row since 2020, whatever. Okay, you just lost 2 games in a row to the lowly Rockies. You are back under 500. The equity that you built up after winning those 4 series in a row and playing good against the Dodgers completely wiped that shit away. And you're just basically giving excuses, which to me is like, I hate hearing from managers or coaches.
Yeah, I mean, I heard the same thing. I heard the question from Marty. I thought the same thing. I mean, there's no point to spin right now. You've lost 2 games in a row to the Rockies. You're 2-4 against Colorado this year. There's no real spin. I mean, I don't think the wheels have completely fallen off. You could also spin it. They're 8-5 in their last 13 games overall. Have they given back the Dodgers series? Yes, mathematically they have. I mean, they took 2 of 3 from LA, and now the best they can do is lose 2 of 3 against the Rockies. So I agree with you. And then, of course, there was the token answer to the next question, which is, I'm excited for you to be with us like when Toddy, Bogey, and Manny are carrying this team later in the season, which, again, I don't know what else he's supposed to say. And I understand he is the manager of the Padres, not the Rockies or another team. So, of course, he's going to come to the defense of his team. But to like what end? I mean, this guy is like such an ardent supporter that it almost feels like forced. I mean, it really does feel forced. I mean, at some point, you're going to have to be honest, I think, with the media about the team. Now, we watched this entire game. We're texting back and forth. It is kind of comical watching this game. They did hit the ball harder than Colorado. The Rockies did take advantage of single after single after single after single, which is something the Padres, of course, have done this year as well. And it will happen, obviously, over the course of a season. And I thought maybe they were going to find a way in the 7th or 8th inning to get back into the game, and they kind of did. But, I mean, you're losing in front of 43,000 people against the Colorado Rockies and that trash bullpen they have. They're throwing closers out there with 9 ERAs and 333 batting averages against. And they're not going situational, and they're not bringing guys in with 2 outs for left or going to anyone for 4-out saves. They don't have some elite closer back there. I mean, they're far from perfect, Colorado, yet they're still beating you. So it's frustrating. It's absolutely frustrating. The Machado stuff we'll get into tonight as well. It's concerning. It's weird. More double plays, 2 of them on first pitch swinging again tonight. 3 double plays, first pitch swinging in the last 2 games for Manny Machado, just 3 double plays in general. And this, for as good as it seems sometimes, it can seem just as bad when you watch this team the last couple of days.
Baseball is one of the best sports, but also the dumbest sports, because you can have a 0 for 10 stretch and hit the ball 115 mile an hour off the bat every single time.
Mm-hmm.
And it results into an 0 for 10, and
Sure.
That's the dumbest part about baseball, where you can lose a game where the hardest hit ball by the other team is like 75 miles per hour off the bat.
It's true.
And you can lose that game when you hit rocket after rocket after rocket. The only way those things are talking points is if those rockets that you continue to hit turn into results. Because if they don't turn into results eventually, nobody's going to sit there and be like, man, do you guys see that hard hit ball that Manny hit in the gap the other day, but it got caught? Man, that was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody, like, no one cares. Like, nobody cares. I understand how baseball works. Like, if you're swinging the bat well, at times you might take a hard out instead of continuing to roll over every single pitch and not making good contact. But at some point, those hard hit balls are going to have to result in some type of result, because if they don't, it means nothing. And that's where it's like you're sitting on one way where Schildt is just, he loves to talk about process and he hates talking about result. Like, he hates talking about the end result of this game was you lost 6-3. You continue to not hit with runners in scoring position. You've now lost 2 in a row, giving away that good weekend series you just had versus the Dodgers. Yep. And you're 1 game back under 500, which is the absolute most important thing in the entire Padres universe right now, is that win-loss record. And that win-loss record, while, hey, you can say, well, if the season ended today, we're in the postseason. Okay, great. But you're not making the postseason at the end of the year if you're 1 game under 500 or 500, most likely.
No, you're not. And of course, the season also doesn't end today. And hopefully we're expecting them to get Joe Musgrove back. Dylan Cease was really good in this game. Now
he just lost it in the 6th there. Like, for some reason, he just 30-some pitches.
I mean, he left having allowed one run.
The Rockies, just, to their credit, they just fouled off every single pitch that inning.
Yeah, I mean, it was all Cola. I mean, he left 5 2/3 innings with a man on first.
Or was it the 5th inning? I think it was the 5th inning.
Sixth. He went 5 2/3.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, he left. Well, he gave up that hit off the bag. That was the second run that scored, and then Kolek allowed another 3 runs in the inning on like 4 consecutive hits. But I know Cease did his part, 5 2/3 innings, 2 runs. That's
what I mean
good
is, like,
enough.
I think the 5th inning took him about 30 pitches to get through. Is my point.
Yeah, but I mean, again, like Dylan Cease, check. That's fine. If you would have told me 5 2/3 innings, 2 runs, I say, okay, the Padres, you're going to have to do something on offense. Like, you're going to have to do something. They cannot hit with men in scoring position again. They were 0 for 23 at one point going back to 4 games ago. They went 3 for 12 in this game. Stephen Kolek was a big problem today. I get it. He was singled to death. It wasn't like everything was hit over the wall. And then the Padres, rallied a bit there in the 7th inning, threatened again in the 8th inning. And let's get to the first super of the night. And there's a lot to react to. So make your way in, subscribe, smash the like button for us, and appreciate the super chats. We'll get to all of them. Click the $sign below the chat box. Padre Phil, why don't we start here? John, I know you saw Manny not run out the 2 double plays again. Jim, are you still okay with it? We're not going to go down that full path again, obviously, here today. I mean, Manny's going through it. I mean, Manny is fully going through it. 1 for 4 with a single, 2 double plays, ripped the ball to right. It was caught, his final AB of the day. I mean, he's not right. I mean, just watch these games. He's clearly not comfortable. He talked about it today. He said his elbow is a problem. I mean, I don't know exactly what he said. He didn't say it was an excuse, but he did say it's a problem. He's hit into 3 double plays. He had 3 double plays and 4 ABs.
Yeah.
Going back to the last game. So he's a problem right now, and he's not the only problem, but he is a problem right now for the Padres.
Yeah, he's not the problem. He is a problem. is just magnified more because he's the guy making the most money on the team and he's hitting cleanup for this team. That's why. Still talk about Bogey and Toddy, like those guys ain't shit. Okay. It's hard to really get on Cronenworth because he's actually been producing, even though he went 0 for tonight. And you can't say one bad thing about Jurickson Profar. He was on base every single time tonight. And if we're sitting here when they lose games and Manny goes 0 for or has one single, a 35 hopper up the middle, and we're like, can't believe Campy didn't get, step into that pitch to get hit, or like, I can't believe Merrill didn't do this. It's like, well, maybe, but at the same time, those guys, they're not the big dogs of this team. And if we're sitting complaining, and I'm not saying we are, but if anybody out there is upset at like the Koleks of the world, the whoever, you might want to look at this team and realize that they're the complementary pieces. They're not the stars. And the stars, if they were performing, then we can talk about the complementary pieces not stepping up. But guess what? The complementary pieces actually are stepping up, and it's the stars that are completely MIA in most nights.
I mean, completely. I mean, the Manny thing after last night, and then to speak to the media to his credit today, and I thought he said the right things. There was nothing ridiculous about what he said this afternoon.
No, all fair.
He's got perspective. He spent 10, 11 years in the big leagues. I mean,
he's a pro.
But then to go out and to have the circumstances that played out tonight again.
When he swung first pitch,
he swings first pitch, the exact same thing, rolls over, jogs down to first.
Yeah.
Does it again his second AB or his third AB, rolls over, jogs down to first. And it's just like, this is what it is. I mean, and by the way, I mean, the tide's turning on Machado. Like all the love fest. And I already can see the tweets, Jim.
Yeah.
He'll have a game in Atlanta.
Apologize.
Everyone knows who quit on Manny.
Yeah.
Guys, he's got to produce for 60 days. He's got to produce for 90 days. Like, this ain't getting fixed in a game. And by the way, he can go 4 for 4 in a game. He's going to have to do it again. They're going to need this dude. They're 22 and 23, and they've got nothing from him. So if you expect him to go on a run, they're going to need something from. He's going to have to play well for a couple of months here, folks.
Yeah. And
we're not going to see that, just tomorrow. I don't care what he does tomorrow. What I care about is what he does over the next 60 days. Right. Evan, thank you for the super chat. He says, on the verge of getting swept by a Rockies team, this is maybe the worst bullpen I've ever seen. Their bullpen is so bad.
God awful.
And DFA Kolek, he serves no role in this team. I actually disagree on that on Kolek. Kolek has pitched fine for this team, and today wasn't good. And balls are put in play, but I thought it was all BABIP. Luck, single to death. It'll happen. Yeah. And I'm not saying he's the best reliever in their bullpen. He's not, but I don't think he should be DFA, and I don't think he should be returned based on this start. But to your point on the Rockies bullpen, it's like, who was it? You let them off the hook. They've done it back-to-back days where they basically allowed the Rockies bullpen to escape because the Padres had them on the ropes yesterday, multiple times again today. I mean, you had the tying run at the plate in the 7th inning. You could have the go-ahead run to the plate potentially in the 7th or 8th inning with Manny Machado before maybe Cronenworth lined out or hit some ball hard, the way I recall it. So they put some pressure on, but they didn't come through. And this Rockies bullpen, man, this Rockies team is going to be so bad in the end. I know they've won 6 straight. This reminds me of Oakland last year when they won 9 straight. This Rocky team will return to form very quickly. This is not a good team at all. Their bullpen is so bad, but they're believing a little bit. And I mean, they've won 6 consecutive games. So that is what it is.
You know what Schildt also did after the game, which kind of like annoyed me, is he was talking about tonight the woulda, coulda, shouldas, and basically, then ending the answer with, woulda, coulda, shoulda, blah, 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 blah. We'd be looking for a series win tomorrow. Well, you're not, Mike. Like, you're not.
Yeah, I heard that.
Like, what are we doing here? I know you have to make sure that Preller is like, on your best behavior for AJ every press conference, and making sure that the clubhouse views you as like a guy that is all in for them. But I mean, come the fuck on. Sometimes it's annoying, dude. And I was on this from the start of the season when I heard it. I think after the Campy misplay, when he had his foot off the bag and he's then praising Campy. I'm like, that's a big league player that didn't have his foot on the bag, and you're completely excusing it. And it's now 40-something games into the season.
45.
And it feels like it's getting worse when this team loses games.
Yeah, he's dug his heels in more. Man, I couldn't wait to hear what his answer was going to be when Marty asked that question.
Yep.
I could not wait to hear. And
he referred
honestly,
to the four series wins before that. Like,
yeah,
don't fucking care.
I actually thought he was going to lose it. I thought he was going to lose it, but he took a half second and he said twice, I think, I appreciate the question, which means he absolutely hates the question. Let me translate. He absolutely despises the question. John. And I'm glad Marty did. Marty's a pro's pro. I mean, she'll ask Manny Machado tough questions, and that's not easy to do. So she has no problem asking Mike Schildt anything. By the way, the Rockies are closer to the Padres in the standings than the Padres are to the Dodgers, if that puts things in perspective, folks. The Rockies are closer to the Padres than the Padres are to the Dodgers. The division's over. It's May 15th. The division's over.
That's over.
But, of course, Manny said today they're in a pennant race. They can't take time off. They're in no pennant race. It's a 162-game season. Every team's in the pennant race. If you want to say that, Colorado has entered it because they're 6.5 games behind the Padres. So they're not in a pennant race. They won't be winning this division. There's no path to doing that. They can absolutely be a playoff team, but that'll be determined over 5 months. That's not going to be determined today. It's not going to be determined tomorrow. Manny's going to have to play well for 4+ months. Again, he hits a home run tomorrow, great, but we're going to have to see it over and over and over again. Jared, thank you for the soup and the membership. He says just came to say that Manny is a bum. I mean, listen, the Boo Birds were out.
Yeah.
The Boo Birds were in a big way. Kolick, the offense, just everything. The way this game was transpiring, and people stuck around. They made their run, and there were 40,000 people there rallying behind the Padres. But I mean, it's not that it's put up or shut up time. It's just I think people are seeing through some of this a little bit. Like, guys, we've been in Manny's corner, and people are still in his corner, and they want to see him do well. But, like, I don't know. Like, people are very realistic right now with Manny Machado, and Manny Machado's not living up to his part of it right now, and he's got to, and he's not.
I think people just want to hope and believe that this team is better than just 500,
or better than last year.
Better, yeah, exactly. Or like because there have been moments this year where they've looked really good.
Yeah,
and I was even saying on Monday, like, with them only being 1 game over, I'm like, it feels like this team is playing better than that.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, the record is, you are what your record is, as the great Bill Parcells says. And I mean, maybe the realization as the season continues to go on is like, maybe they're just a 500 team. Now they're going to have opportunities to, make that so they're not a 500 team and that they're a team that can be in postseason contention and be in the postseason. But if you can't beat the lesser teams, that stretch in August that I've been talking about, which is maybe can make or break your season, then it's probably going to break your season if you can't beat the lesser teams.
Right.
Because that's the stretch there where you face the Rockies a couple series, you face the Pirates a couple series. I think you face the Marlins. So, if you're going to play good against the good teams, like, cool. There's also not that many great teams in baseball. Like the Braves, the Phillies, you got swept by the Phillies, the Dodgers. Okay. You play well against the Cubs. Yankees, Baltimore. All right. That's all I got right now. Sort of like the good and the Minnesota Twins, they're really good too. But that's what, 6 teams? And a lot of them are in the American League.
Right.
And
you're saying there's less good teams than there are bad teams.
Right. And so the mid teams, right? Like the Reds, and now you took the series from the Reds, but the Nationals and the Pirates and the Giants and the Diamondbacks and the Giants, you're going to face the A's here, and you're like, Houston, you get my point. The Chicago White Sox. You're going to face way more mid teams and bad teams this year than you are going to face good teams.
Yeah, I mean, is it a case of not getting quote unquote up for series? I mean, I don't know what it is. I really don't. Like Melvin took, or not Melvin, but here's Melvin from Daniel Ward. But Schildt took exception at the hey, good teams beat bad teams. He's like, well, it's a 162 game season, and it's hard to win every series, whether the teams are good or bad. But it is interesting how, like, for all three of the Dodgers series, they've really looked as good as they've looked all year.
At points,
And
yeah.
for the other series, man, sometimes they've looked good, like you said, against the Cubs, and others they've looked very mid. Daniel, thank you for the super. He says, so can we all agree Bob Melvin wasn't the problem? I mean, they have like an identical record, to Daniel's point. Who knows? I don't know how this shakes out. I don't know how it ends. I don't know if Melvin was a problem. I don't know if he was not the problem. I don't know if Schildt is the problem or not. How do we know? But I mean, they've basically got the exact same record as last year. And Bob Melvin took him to an NLCS in 2022. And Mike Schildt hasn't done that as of yet, because this is his first year managing the team. So
At least
I think the criticism of Melvin went too far in 2023 and probably to start this year as well. And I think we probably should reserve a little bit of judgment on Mike Schildt, because who knows what the hell happens this year.
At least Melvin told you like it is. He didn't sugarcoat shit, and I respected him for it. And I thought I didn't feel like his press conferences were cringy at all, and he would tell you how it is. And you know, it is what it is. If you didn't like it, then if you didn't like that, and you also don't like what Schildt's doing, then what do you want? Because
a podcaster, you want Doug Gottlieb or JJ Redick?
Well, I know what I meant was like the messaging, John. Like Schildt is going to sugarcoat, silverline anything, and he's never going to criticize. He is never going to say a negative, even close to a negative thing about his team publicly ever. Melvin would tell you like it is all the time. If they were playing bad, he lets you know. If they're playing good, he lets you know. If there was asked a question about, someone dogging it or someone getting picked off first, or, he would be like, yeah, that can't happen. If he was asked about, hey, not having your foot on the bag, be like, yeah, that can't happen. You're not getting that from Schildt. So it's like, what do you want? Do you want the Melvin give it to you like it is? And if you hated Melvin for that, but you also hate Schildt for sugarcoating shit, then like, what do you want from this manager? I personally want it to be real. I want him to be honest, or not. No one's ever fully honest in sports, but at least don't insult my intelligence. Like, I know what I'm watching. Stop trying to tell me that it's good when it's not, type of thing. And that's what I feel like Schildt does really good. He'll let you know that he tries to let you think it's good when it's bad.
Right. Okay, let me get to some supers that are rolling in. I'm also tweeting at Darnang. Jared, thank you. He says Colorado still has the show. Bad Mexican food. I do think that's an accurate statement. So in regards to who has better Mexican food, the Padres would be more than 6.5 games better than the Rockies. But in baseball, the Padres are 6.5 games better than the Rockies. James, thank you. He says, like I said the other day, this series won't be easy. Not looking forward to getting swept, but I think they score 15 runs and we get the win tomorrow. I mean, it is a fair point. Like, you can't get swept, right? Like, swept? You can't get swept, but now they're on the verge of getting swept. And Austin Gomber's been like the best pitcher for the Rockies this year. Michael King's had some really good outings. He's had some tough outings for the Padres as well. The Padres are like baseball's best team ever during the day at home. I mean, they're awful at night. I mean, they're terrible. I don't even know what the record is now at night, Jim. What is it, 3-13 or 12? Something bad. Not good is what it is. They get a day game in a game. Like, you can't go to the road getting swept by the Rockies and having Thursday off, can you?
No, you can't. It doesn't end your season. The season doesn't end tomorrow if you lose to the Rockies. But, I mean, you were playing some good baseball. And you've now tripped and you have fallen face first. You still can get up. You didn't like break your neck or anything, but one step forward, 2 step back. And you didn't have a good first month of the year. So it would behoove them to actually have a good month here in May. They still are having technically a okay good month. But yeah, you lose tomorrow. Not a good feeling going into the off day for sure. And going on the road against Atlanta and Cincinnati. I mean, who knows? Probably they'll sweep Atlanta and everyone's like, what the fuck is happening here?
It is. I mean, to like the Schildt overall point, like or our overall point, it's not the easiest thing in the world to predict. It's not. I mean,
No.
if this was predictable, it wouldn't be going this way. Even this season, even to get to 22 and 23, if it was predictable, it wouldn't have gone the way it's gone. I mean, they're 2-4 against the Rockies, and they're 5-3 against the Dodgers. So that's not the way you would have predicted it to go. And they're 22 and 23. So it is hard to know what's going to happen moving forward. HBBV, thank you for the super. Says I'm so mad. About to use my fake ID and pull a Shohei. Oh, just start gambling on random things. I don't think it's the worst thing in the world. I saw Tim Donahue says that Shohei knew all about his interpreter's betting issues. You see that, Jim?
Oh yeah.
Former NBA official says that Shohei was he knew all about it. Daniel Ward, thank you. He says Padres should hire Brian Kenny. Yeah, Brian Kenny could figure this out. He knows all the numbers. He would trade Tatis. Kenny make him a coach, not even a manager, a coach, GM, player even, and he could trade Tatis day one. He'd trade everyone, rebuild this thing, and he'd have this thing rolling by 2026, 2027.
Great idea, John. Do it.
You like that?
Yeah, I like it a lot. Everyone would love that move. Brian Kenny, put him in the front office. Screw it.
Yes, I like that.
Yeah.
All right, let's we should tell people about our title sponsor. Is what we should do.
It's weird. On my side, I can't see like the super chats or anything. So
that's what I had yesterday, and you were like, "Suck it up." All right, guys, if you're here, we appreciate your support. We appreciate everyone that's here live or on replay. And, of course, we appreciate the support of Mark Nimitz at Farmers Insurance, the title sponsor of the wrap-up show. He's been with us since day one. He's a really good insurance agent. You can take it from me. I've had insurance with Mark for the better part of 3 years, homeowners and earthquake, and now life insurance as well. If you have any insurance need before you just renew, if you're looking for information on a new policy, call Mark. He'll talk to you about the Padres. He's a lifelong San Diegan and a lifelong Padres fan, and he's going to save you money, $750 or more by switching your insurance. You can click the link in the description down below. He does more than what I just said. He does auto, he does condo, he does renters, he does whatever you need. You get a free quote online by clicking the link in the description down below or by calling Mark. So again, if you support the channel, if you have an insurance need, please get in contact with Mark Nimitz.
Yeah, all his information is on the bottom ticker below, mnimitz@farmersagent.com. When you reach out to our buddy Mark, let him know that John and Jim from the wrap-up show sent you.
I mean, you know, the funny thing is, and again, of course, they're going to watch Mike Schildt like a hawk post-game. We're going to attack, and I'm all for it. I thought the same things.
Attack.
But he actually said things that I agreed with, and people on social were saying the exact same thing, which is, dude, it's funny. They play 162 times. We hit the ball well. Yeah. It was hit at fielders. They didn't. It wasn't hit at fielders. I mean, he's not wrong in saying that. Now, it doesn't excuse it. It doesn't make it easier. It does help explain the reason why they play 162 times is because there's some things that kind of even out over the course of 162. I thought the Padres were getting the benefit a lot of those games earlier in the year. Balls falling in, some big innings without power, without 2 or 3 home runs in an inning, but scoring 4, 5, 6 runs. It just felt like tonight was the opposite of that. And even yesterday, too, where it's like, man, I felt like they've capitalized in these spots before, but they didn't last night for whatever reason. So to me, it feels a little bit like evening out, and they've got like an even record. I mean, I don't really disagree with what he was saying, having watched the game. I kind of felt similar in watching it.
I 100% agree. I think the only thing that I had exception with was the answer to Marty's question. Because that is the ultimate, like, look over here when the house is on fire. It's not on fire. It's 2 games. They lost 2 in a row. They're 1 game under 500, game 45 of the year. Okay. But, you know, Marty had a great question. And instead of Schildt answering it accordingly, which is the last 2 nights have been really bad, it was forget about the last 2 nights. We just won 4 series in a row coming into this series. That should be something that people should be happy with. Right. Not be upset that we lost 2 games in a row to the last place team Rockies and couldn't get a hit with runners in scoring position to save our freaking lives. But you know what? Look at the last 4 series. You know when's the last time we did that, guys? 2022 or 2021. Shouldn't we praise that instead of, you know, asking me questions about expectations?
Did he say, should we praise that?
No, but it was implied.
Okay.
Like,
Right. Okay.
guys, why are you asking me these questions? We just won 4 series in a row coming into this one. Who cares about losing 2 games to the Rockies? That's the only thing that I really had exception with tonight from Schildt, honestly. Everything else, whatever, it's fine. He is actually right. I think we talked about it. Baseball is the dumbest sport sometimes where you hit the ball a million miles an hour off the bat. Rockies have bloop hits everywhere and they win the game. And the back of the bubblegum card, guys, like we've heard that a million times. It's kind of just in one ear out the other to me. Like it's nothing new. We hear it all the time with this team and these players. Just look at the back of your baseball card and we have confidence in them. Okay, cool. Well, I'll believe it when I see it. But
the funny thing is, like, yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that because if anyone thinks all three of these players will reach their career averages in average, on base, slugging, home runs, RBIs, runs scored, I have ice to sell you if you're an Eskimo. Bad example, but there's no chance in hell Tatis, Machado, Bogarts hit their career averages all.
it's very unlikely.
That's very damning. I'm not talking about career years. Bogarts would have to have a 1,000 OPS to like have his like 820 career OPS coming into the year. Maybe not 1,000, but 950.
Pretty close. I mean, 900 at least.
I'd love to see it. I think he's hitting 3 or 4 consecutive games. He did have a hit here today, so he has homered a couple times here recently. So I mean, it's not to pile on Xander Bogaerts, but I mean, we talk about Manny having gone through it. He's gone through it, but Bogey's gone through it just as badly as Manny all year long. So if we can snap our fingers, they're at career averages. This team's in the postseason, but I can't assure you these 3 players are going to be at their career averages at the end of the year. That's wishful.
If just one of them is at their career averages at the end of the season, I would take it right now.
It's another fair point. That's more likely that one of them will.
All right, let me ask you this. You have to pick one guy to be at their career average. Who are you taking? I know who I'm taking.
It's hard because Toddy's had the best career, if you just look at career numbers.
Yeah.
So I
900 plus OPS.
Yeah, like the problem is we're looking at career numbers now, guys, that are weighted down by the year. With Tatis specifically, like Tatis doesn't have he's got 458 games in his career. When he has a bad 45 games, he's weighed down his career averages 10, 15%. Right. Because 10 or 15% of his career games. I mean, Tatis, even right now, Jim, has an 884 career OPS, which means he had a 900 heading into the year, or 910.
Yeah.
So is he going to get to 910 as a 770 something guy? Maybe. It's definitely possible. What we're waiting on that hasn't happened, and correct me if I'm wrong, we're waiting on a multiple home run game to elevate the back of a baseball card. Like you're going to need a 2 home run game. Tatis is going to need 8, 10 total bases in a game. Manny's going to need 6, 7, 8 total bases in a game. I mean, I don't know how long we can wait for that, though. It's almost a third of a season. When is someone going to do something special that isn't Jerks and Profar?
Thinking about that question more, just looking at their numbers now, I think I might take Bogarts because that means he would have to, like you said, have like 1,000 OPS over the rest of the season.
Probably not that high, but 940 or something.
For the rest of the year, John, that's pretty damn good.
Oh, I know. I agree.
So it's like maybe just because he has been so bad to get to your career average, it's like maybe you take the guy that's been the worst.
Dude, if you add up Bogey and Manny's WAR this year, it's 0.0. One of them is negative 0.1, the other is 0.1. Then Toddy's 1.1. The 3 players have combined for 1 WAR in over a quarter of a season, pushing a third of a season. They've combined for 1 WAR. How are they 22 and 23? How are they not the Rockies?
And if you ask the question, why is this team 1 game under 500? That's your answer. In my opinion.
Crazy. Juan, thank you for the super. He says, I can't wait for a team meeting.
They've already had a couple team meetings, I think.
I was going to say, I think they've had a couple, truthfully. I don't know if it doesn't.
Didn't Profar ask for a team meeting like week 2?
Yeah, I don't know. I kind of like the makeup. I don't feel is the issue. Even the last 2 nights, they come back. Last night, they overcome a 4-run deficit, pulled within 1. Tonight, tying run the plate in the 7th, 8th inning. Like, it's not like they've completely rolled over. I don't think they have. No. I'm watching these games. I'm not looking at a team that's completely listless, completely lifeless.
Body language seems fine. Like, yeah, it's weird because last year was all about body language and clubhouse dynamic.
Mm-hmm.
And then it all trickled onto the field with their play. This year, like you said, I don't feel like a clubhouse dynamic or body language has been bad at all from what we've seen and heard.
I don't think so.
Just like these guys aren't getting it done. Like they're just not performing, and I know people want to like have these deeper dives into why and like, oh, it's because Manny this and Toddy that and blah, blah. They're just not getting it done. And that's a scary thing if that's just it. Like if that is just it, that they're just simply just not performing, but everything else is fine. Man.
I mean, we're going to have to at some point, and we have time still here tonight. We're going to have to get into what Manny Machado said about his elbow. I mean, he didn't bring it up. He was asked about it. Like, are you being impacted by your elbow? And point blank, there's an article on the UT from Kevin that has the direct quotes. But, I mean, he said yes. I mean, the elbow is a problem. He didn't say it in those exact words. The headline for the article is Padres star Manny Machado expresses confidence roller coaster, quote unquote, will end up being fun, whatever that even means. But he says,
it's like one of those roller coasters that goes off the rails.
You're right. Exactly. He says it's just a grind and I'm going to be dealing with it all year. And went into even more about how he's been recovering well. And today he was in the field, for example, for a third consecutive game for the first time this year. But I mean, we had indications of this, Jim, a month ago when he said, I was told by the doctors I won't be fully healthy until year 2. And we're like, wait, what?
Like no one talked about it. Like no one mentioned it. I know you were the first person to talk about it and bring it up like, hey, whoa, hold on.
That was massive.
A year?
I think he's probably going to be accurate. Is he going to have a career year or get to even his career averages this year? Probably not. I mean, based on what he has said, based on what we've seen, things can change. Things can absolutely change. But what we're seeing right now isn't overly encouraging.
And that's what I talked about on John and Jim today. By the way, if you haven't already, go subscribe. We're like 10. Yeah. We're like 10 subscribers away on John and Jim from hitting 2,000 subs. So please, if you are watching us right now on the wrap-up show, we have over 350 people here in the chat on a Tuesday night. We love you guys. If you haven't already, please go subscribe to our John and Jim YouTube channel. We're like a couple away from 2,000. We would love to hit that tonight. So
how about I put a link in the chat?
Yeah, we're very close to 2,000 subscribers on our John and Jim page. So go subscribe, and we appreciate you all. But I was talking about that today on John and Jim. Like if Manny has a good year next year, that'd be great. But that does nothing for this year. This year is all that matters. And if Manny doesn't have a good season this year and this team doesn't have a good season and this team doesn't make the postseason, then there's going to be a lot of change around Manny for next season, most likely. You potentially could be looking at a new general manager, potentially, depending on if this thing goes south or not. And then if you got a new GM, then you're 100% getting a new manager, and so if you have a good year next year, perfect. That's what you need to have. Unfortunately, I don't give a shit about next year right now. Like I care about this year, and this year is a very important season for a lot of people in that organization. Coming off of that shit show of 2023.
No, you're 100% right. Moises, thank you, man, for the super chat. We appreciate you guys. If you're here, subscribe to the channel that I just linked at the top of the live chat, John and Jim. If you want more Padres content, we're trying to get to 2,000 subscribers over there. We're 7 away now. So thank you guys for subscribing. But Moises, we appreciate you. If you want to contribute to super, support our work, you can click the $ below the chat box. He says, can we start a petition so Preller doesn't make any more trades? Next GM needs to have something left to work with. I'm all for these trades.
They've been good trades
without Dylan Cease. I mean, Dylan Cease has been a Cy Young candidate.
Luis
Arraez should. I mean, I like what I've seen from Arraez for the 10 days he's been here. I think he's fully capable of hitting 300 plus and helping this team. So I don't have an issue with the trades. I just have an issue with the team being 22 and 23 for whatever reason.
Yeah, at this point in time, I don't have an issue at all with what Preller has done this offseason or the trades at all. Now, again, it will fall on him if they do not make the postseason because that's just how this is going to work. At least we think that's how it's going to work. This year right now, to this point in time in this season, is not about the moves that AJ Preller has made or not made. It's as simple as your highest paid players are not performing. Plain and simple. And we'll continue to say that. I know it's going to drive everyone nuts, but
How does he sleep?
that's it.
I wouldn't sleep either. I'm not blaming. By the way, we can get into the reasons for the contracts. But how do you sleep knowing you got these guys tied up for all those years at that money,
And they're like
and you
not
don't know if they're
showing.
ever going to
Yeah.
perform like that contract? Like, how can you? I
You're going
don't
to
know.
sit there and be
What
like, I just hope they perform.
you
Because
just
if they
praying?
don't,
That's what I'm thinking.
because then if they don't perform, then you're going to be put in a situation where it's almost like you feel like you need to make more moves because the superstars aren't performing. So you have to like, you know, like what's the word? Make up for what the superstars aren't doing by making other moves. Like,
Right. Like
do they make
overcompensate.
overcompensate? Do they? I mean, they probably do for Arise because it's Luis Arise, and I think he's a really good player, and of course, I'd want him on my team. But like, what if Xander and Manny were having like career years up to this point? Do you think Preller goes as hard for Luis Arise as he did?
Maybe not. Potentially not.
Maybe, maybe not. Who knows? But those are the questions that are being asked by us. Is like, would they? I don't think they would be even. I don't think they'd be game under 500 if Xander and Manny were having good seasons. I think they'd be way better than that.
They wouldn't. Guys, we'll get back to your supers in a moment and the conversation. Again, the Padres fall to the Rockies tonight. Pet goes 6-3. We do want to tell you about one of our new partners here on the wrap-up show. We're thrilled to be working with them. Our friends at Finle, a local San Diego startup. These guys are Padres fans. They can see into Petco Park from their office. This is a really cool company, and it's really cool for baseball fans because Finle allows fans to acquire a stake in the potential success of real athletes. The best example is Fernando Tatis Jr. a few years ago in the minors, did a deal with a company called Big League Advance. He gave up future earnings for guaranteed income in the minor leagues. And that's what Finle is now offering to our listeners and viewers. They have their first athlete. His name is Shedry Vargas. He's one of the top prospects in the Texas Rangers organization. And you now can support a rising prospect and get a piece of his future major league earnings potentially. He was the top prospect in the Arizona Complex League a couple of years ago. He signed for only like $10,000. So they're raising capital that will allow him to focus on baseball year round. As you can see on the screen at the website, you can scroll down and there's a scroll bar and you can invest for as little as $96 in his future earnings, and that can pay dividends if and when he makes the major leagues, and depending on how he plays in the major leagues, whether it's a $96 investment or $200 investment or $600 investment or whatever it is. So again, if you're looking for more information, click the link in the description down below. It's a really cool company, I think specifically for baseball fans. These guys are San Diegans, Padre fans. They're looking to acquire more athletes moving forward as well. So make sure to check them out by clicking that link in the description down below.
What's the minimum for baseball players? 750,000?
96 bucks. Or say that again?
What's the minimum for baseball players making the big league level? 750?
755.
755. So investing in Shedry Vargas, he makes the big leagues. That's a minimum of $755,000 that you could get a part of for investing in one of the top prospects in the Rangers organization. Another thing with this company that if you're wondering about, Mark Grant, everyone loves Mark Grant. He is an advisor of Finle. They have an office here in San Diego, and the prospect that they are promoting here is Shedry Vargas, Keith Law. You guys know Keith Law. He's very high on him. So go to Finle, go to the link in the description below, check out the website, and we're happy to have Finle on board.
Yeah, connecting fans and athletes like really, truly has never been done before. If you want to invest in the future of Shedry Vargas, you can do so by clicking that link in the description down below. So thank you, Finle. Let's get back to these super chats. Jason, appreciate you. He says, maybe that Rangers sweep was no fluke. Can't change tonight. So hoping King can be the same tomorrow like he was against LA. Appreciate you both. We appreciate you, Jason. I mean, yeah, I mean, some of the conversation, which we very rarely do, is like you do credit the opponent. I mean, we don't. I mean, they were 8-28 6 days ago. It was the worst record in baseball 6 days ago. No team was worse than 8-28. And that, well, now they're 14-28. And they're 6.5 games behind the Padres. And I don't know, 4 games behind the Giants and 5 games behind Arizona. So they're completely lost season, at least has a glimmer to where maybe they could get into like a 4th place or something in the NL West. But I mean, I think this is more a reflection on the Padres than it is on the Rockies, because I feel as if the Rockies have not tried to, they haven't finished off these games. They've almost, it's like the Padres have gifted at least one of these 2 games to Colorado. So yeah, Colorado's played well. They deserve credit for it, but they're an incomplete team that has still won the first 2 games of this series.
It's the most frustrating part of baseball is how the Padres lost these last 2 games to the Rockies.
Yeah.
But you also can't tell me, like, you think if
You're
the
right back.
Dodgers, what's happening?
Need water.
I was gonna say, if the Dodgers were the Padres these last 2 nights, the Rockies played exactly the same way, walking everybody, runners everywhere, guys with 9 ERAs in there. I'm sorry, the Dodgers probably are winning those games. What is that, cheese?
Frozen mango.
Of course it's frozen mango. You know what I did the
No.
other night? So remember the listener that sent us like Pokemon cards?
No.
He sent us like Pokemon cards, and I like took them home and I never opened them.
Okay.
And I opened them up last night, and I have like a bunch of like Pokemon packs here.
Do you have any Charizards or whatever?
I don't have any Charizards, but I had like a Charmander.
When did someone send us Pokemon cards?
No, it's a Charmeleon, sorry, and then a Charmander.
Was this recently?
No, this was like months ago. We were talking about it on air, and you couldn't say Charizard. You kept on saying Charizard.
Oh, that was like in 2022 or something.
I know. I've had these in my car forever. Like,
Did you get any like $10,000 card or something?
no, I didn't open anything yet.
Or don't open them. Save them for 50 years and then sell them for like $1 million.
But I don't think anybody's going to care about a Scarlet and Violet Obsidian Flames Pokemon pack.
You'd be surprised. You'd be
I don't want to keep these for
to you.
50 years.
I know.
Who wants to see me open up a pack of Pokemon cards on our wrap-up show at the end of the night? Put in the chat.
Look at all the hands. Where are you at Productions? Thank you for the very generous super chat. Nothing says Padres baseball like Pokemon card sets. I says, how many more excuses is Schildt going to
the other night of like all of your like credentials?
Oh yeah, I put those back. How many more excuses is Schildt going to give this offense? More importantly, the stars. Schildt trying to please his daddy AJ with his media handling. LOL. We consistent offense, not a participation award handout. It's tough. I mean, Schildt does it differently than Melvin, who does it differently than Green, who does it differently than Tingler. Schildt's like the all-in rah-rah. I will, go to battle with this team every day of the week. What I saw was a bunch of gamers, a bunch of fighters. I mean, I don't think he's going to change his tune anytime soon, Jim. I don't really want to see him. If they fall 8 or 10 under, who the hell knows what that's going to do to Mike Schildt?
I know. He's going to be questioning a lot of things about life. Yeah, I mean, look, Schildt, Tingler, Melvin, the one constant's Manny and AJ. And those are the 2 people that this organization revolves around. And so, Preller's making moves that don't work out and Manny's not performing on the field, more likely than not, this team's not winning games.
Well, I'm going to give you, let me play this real quick. This is Ron Washington tonight. I just, by comparison, because we're only hearing Mike Schildt, just hear this. Listen to this.
Hold on, real quick. What's their record for context?
Oh, man, it's not good. Hold on.
Because I think that would matter.
Yeah, it would definitely matter. They're 15-28. They're a game better, half game better than the Colorado Rockies.
Okay.
But why did you want to call for that?
Lefty on lefty. I didn't sink a ball left-hander. I didn't want him to hit into a double play. He can handle the bat. He didn't do the job. It wasn't anything I did wrong. He didn't do the job.
Some good at-bats.
I would have rather went to the 9th inning with a 6-6 lead than to went to the 9th inning the way we did. It didn't work out.
What did you think of some of the at-bats tonight from Sean and Paris, and good ones against?
Very good ones.
But I mean,
Who was
and
he
I'm not
talking
saying that's
about?
right. What's that?
Who was he talking about?
It's talking about his reliever. He said he went to the right reliever. He had the right matchup, and the reliever didn't do his job. Now, again, that's not every day, but when you're 15 and 28, I mean, again, there's a difference in style. There's a difference. I'm not saying that plays well in the clubhouse. Maybe there's a reason Mike Schildt does what he does. Ron Washington's had success as a manager.
Yeah.
It's been a long time since he had success as a manager, but
what it is like, this is a fragile clubhouse. You make a wrong move
and you lose it.
You lose it, you're done. That's what happened with Melvin.
Is it a fragile clubhouse? Is it a fragile clubhouse, or is it solely Manny Machado?
I'm not going to put it all on Manny, but he's a big part of it.
So, like, let's just for a moment. Okay, that's fine. And that's why I asked the question. I'm not saying it. I'm asking. But for a moment, remove Manny from the equation.
Okay.
You have the same level of production from someone that isn't Manny Machado or whatever. But Manny's not on the team for a moment. Whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Why would you say, I'm asking this question, why would you say there's a level of fragility with this team? Manny's not on it for a second.
I see what you're saying.
Why would you say there's a level of fragility with this team? What part of this team would lead you to believe that?
You know.
Exactly.
You know.
No, exactly.
Yeah. No, and you're right. You're 100% right. It is what it is. I'm not going to sit here and make up things that I don't know about a clubhouse that I'm not in.
Yeah, exactly.
But I'm just going off of recent history and what I have seen here and what I've heard here and what I've read here over the last 5+ years. There's a common denominator. It's pretty simple to figure out who that common denominator is with this team. Dating back to 2019. So
right. And then there's, of course, AJ not in the club. There's that common denominator.
Well, that's
different angle.
AJ also getting people in position so he could get his way into the clubhouse was another problem. But and down the road we might say the same thing about Schildt and Preller. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, you're right. Jamar, appreciate you, man. He says if Manny was hitting 295, 10 homers, 35 RBIs, give him a pass in the double plays completely.
Yep.
But his numbers suck. His splits in high medium leverage dating back to 2023 are well below career average. Spot on. I talked about today on John and Jim.
Yep.
In high mid leverage, #not clutch. This isn't. I would love to do this. I would love to do this deep dive. Maybe I will tomorrow. I probably won't because we're busy. We have meetings or whatever at iHeart. But what was he as a high leverage player through 2022? Day one of his career through 2022 compared to 2023 on. Obviously, it's worse. We understand it. But to what extent, how discernibly different is it? I mean, it's a massive difference. And again, we saw in 2022, the guy flat out hit with men in scoring position. He hit over 300 in 2022. So, but it's a fair point from Jamar where he hasn't been clutch. He hasn't been good. So maybe it goes hand in hand, but he absolutely has not been clutch either.
No, and that's the whole point, Jamar. If Profar's up in that situation last night, he swings the first pitch after the guy on the mound just walked everybody to walk the bases loaded. He hits into a game-winning double play. I don't think many people are going to crush Jurickson Profar. You know why?
No, you're right.
Jurickson Profar has produced this year.
You'd be like bad luck.
Yeah, you'd be like,
that sucks.
That sucks. I can't say anything bad about Profar right now.
No.
Manny's built no equity this season. If you want to talk about career, then cool. Guess what? It's not 5 years ago. I don't care about 5 years ago. I care about now, and I care about this season. And this season, he has not built up any equity to be like, man, that sucks. Because at some point, you're like, you got to freaking produce. That's it.
You're right. I believe I saw in the comments yesterday, I think this is Kemu Maki. And if I'm saying that wrong, tell me again. But I think it's Kemu Maki. And thank you for your loyal support of the channel here recently. We appreciate the super chat. He says he doesn't want to see Yuki take them out tomorrow. He has a bad feeling, which isn't ideal. I mean, again, you got Michael King, who's capable of giving you real innings, hopefully. man, could they use like everything from King tomorrow? One of those just scintillating 6 innings, no runs, 7 innings, 1 run. I mean, something just really good. And then the offense has been good in day games. That's true. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but their offense has been really good in day games. It just feels like one of those games, like with the off day, with the travel, like just get that bad taste out of your mouth, win it. You're 3-3 in the homestand. The world keeps spinning. You lose, you're like, Lord help me. Why can this team not win in San Diego? And we'll be asking that question for 48 straight hours. Like, what is wrong with the San Diego Padres? And people will not be thrilled for 48 straight hours if they lose tomorrow. But I think, again, you turn the page if they win tomorrow and you move on and the world keeps spinning.
Yeah, I mean, you do. I mean, you summarize the homestand as not good enough.
Right. Yeah, definitely.
Because you need to start playing better at home. And you win tomorrow, you had 3-3 homestand after taking 2 or 3 from the Dodgers. So, like, you're going to there's nothing else to do but take it and move on. You don't like it. It's not the greatest thing in the world, but what's the saying, John? It could always get worse. Right?
Yeah, didn't Marty tweet about that? They asked, Trent Grisham last year, like, didn't he say something about it being rock bottom 45 games into the year?
Yeah, I asked her, like, who's the player you're going to ask this year that question? She goes to Zokar.
It can always get worse. I mean, I don't really truthfully have that feeling with this team. I could spin it the other way and say it can get better. I believe that is absolutely possible. In fact, I believe it would be likely. I believe it's likely that this team can play better than they've played here, over this homestand.
I hope so.
Or whatever the last few days. So I believe that, but I mean, they got to prove it to us. They're going to go to Atlanta, and that's not easy. I mean, that's
you're
not
all
easy if you're
of course
playing good baseball. What's that?
I said you're all in, so of course you have to believe it.
I am all in. You were all in before I was all in. You were all in at week 3, I think you said.
Maybe. I don't know what I said. Well, I
Yeah,
say a lot of things.
Run it back. Either do I. He says, now can we bench Kim for Solano or too soon still? I mean, Kim is also going through it, man.
Oh,
now he's also coming off a fastball off his wrist 2 days ago.
But we're not sitting here talking about Kim's production because Kim's not getting paid $30 million a year. Like, yeah, Kim is sucking right now. There's no way around it. Kim's been awful. And there were some at-bats tonight that just looked horrific. Now, he did get hit on the hand, like you said the other day, but if he's in the lineup, I'm not making excuses.
I know.
And that's, if sitting him on the bench for a couple days, okay. And I would love if Donovan Solano starts hitting, at some point, he did it with Bogey, taking him out of the top of the lineup. Like, you got to play your best guys. And I like Solano's bat. I don't know if he's an everyday player still, but you got to do his best for the team at some point. And if continuing to put Kim out there, who has not been good defensively at short, by the way, which is not being talked about a lot, he has been horrific with the bat. He made a mistake on the base path tonight again, getting doubled up.
Yep.
In a contract year, he's having a horrible season so far.
Horrible.
So, look, at the end of the day, if Donovan Solano starts performing and playing better, then discussions will have to be had, I think, unless you just want to just continue to put Kimmy out there hitting ninth, and you have a better option on the bench with Donovan Solano.
What are we going to see? Is tomorrow going to be the Wade Solano?
Probably.
What's your defense?
All of Schildt's favorite players.
A Zokar.
Yeah, all of Schildt's favorite players.
I don't know if you can play that game tomorrow, knowing that the Rockies have won 6 straight, and you got Thursday off, and you need to win.
Well, this team
JD's third.
This team loves, and by team I mean AJ and Schildt. They love Tyler Wade. He's a baseball player, John.
Of course, he's a baseball player.
Yeah, he's going to be in the lineup tomorrow. You watch.
He will. JD's third thank you says, I'm sick of Mr. Magoo's participation trophies. I mean, when Schildt, I don't recall a manager like this, man. When it's good, it's good. When it's bad, it's bad. When they win, everyone loves him post game, and when they lose, and all of a sudden you lose 2 out of 3 or 2 in a row, it gets old quick. It gets old quick.
I love a Schildt press conference when they win because it's so entertaining. And I absolutely despise a Schildt press conference when they lose like this because it's nails on a chalkboard. I don't know.
Kai, appreciate you. He says, what if this is the new Manny and X?
Maybe.
they want this more than us. Some of the chat need to give them a break. Yeah, that's fine. I mean, that's your opinion, and that's fair. That's completely reasonable and fair. He's saying, hey, they want it, therefore be, why are we being critical? They want to perform. But Kai, you know how this works. I mean, they may want it, but they're getting checks every 2 weeks for $1 million, and you and I are getting checks for a couple K. And when you go to the ballpark and you're spending a couple $100 to support your team and you don't see the performance that you are hoping for, and the hot dog's $11 and the beer 17, then people can have a level of criticism. That's all right. I mean, if you're a fan, you're a fan. You can support this team or not support this team any way you want. So I don't have a problem with people being critical. And I agree with you. I think they want it as bad as anyone. I bet Manny Machado is having sleepless nights, not just because he's got a newborn. I bet he's keep staying up at night because of this injury. And I bet Xander can't figure this out either and would do anything in the world to figure it out. But what do you expect fans to do?
Exactly.
Sit on their hands?
Yeah. I mean, people are going to be pissed. I mean, that ballpark is expensive. Okay. It's like
and packed.
$65 to park. Okay. The tickets are hundreds of dollars. Concession stands are $20 for a thing of fries. You know, it's not cheap to go to a ball game. And I agree. Like the whole Manny thing and Bogarts thing and guys that are struggling on this team, everybody cares. I'm not going to say they don't care. They give a shit. Okay. Yeah, everybody's working their ass off. Manny's been a professional baseball player for how long now? Bogey's been a pro for how long now? These guys just don't get to this part in their careers without working hard, and they do work hard. It's that's not what we're questioning at all. We're just saying, are they ever going to be the same players again? And that's that's like a real question that has to be asked. And the realization of the answer potentially being like, no, is a scary thing for this franchise.
It's super scary. I mean, baseball's weird though, because Jim, like we're only a day away from a hot week. Like I don't know when Xander's going to hit 5 home runs in a week. I mean, he's actually hit 2 in the last 3 games. I don't know when Manny's going to hit 2 home runs in 1 game or 3 in 2 games. I just don't know.
Or have a week stretch where 350 with 4 home runs.
And then you start feeling differently about it. Jamar, appreciate you following up. He says he just posted the Manny splits on the John and Jim X page. So I have this here. He tagged me. This is actually pretty interesting.
I don't mean shit.
Huh? So listen to this. High leverage spots for Machado last year, he hit 196. High leverage spots this year, he's hit 167.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's, I don't, 2022, 261, 2021, 340, high leverage. So just for comparison. And then medium leverage, whatever that even means or is worth. This year, 221. Yeah. I don't even know. No, excuse me. This year he's hit 194. Last year 261. The year before 322. So he's clearly down. We all see it. I mean, it's everywhere. It's not just leverage. It's everywhere. It's every sequence. And by the way, the advanced analytics. I went to the Baseball Savant page today, and his numbers are down. They're not down crazy, but they're down from even last year.
The numbers tell the story, but I also, we watch these games every night. I know Manny's not coming up clutch right now. I just know it. There's only a couple instances this year that I could count that he has come up clutch on maybe one hand.
Mm-hmm. Oh, definitely one hand.
And I think when you look at it that way, it's like you can tell me the numbers, but I see it with my own 2 eyes, and I know he's not performing, and I know he's not coming up clutch right now. Even though you can consider him over his career a clutch hitter, that's great. It's not 2018; it's 2024.
Yeah, it's not even 2022. Guys, we'll get back to it in a moment. I see the supers that have been coming in. Please subscribe, and we appreciate the super chats. You can click the $sign below the chat box. How about this? If you scan the QR code above Jim's head right now for Underdog Fantasy, you're getting a 50% deposit match up to $250 in bonus cash, plus you're getting a free special pick. I've got one right now, Jim, for tomorrow.
I do
Caitlin
too.
Clark. Okay, we both do. So this is actually a Thursday pick because Caitlin Clark plays the New York Liberty on Thursday. If she scores a point, I feel good about it. She had 20 tonight. If she scores a point, they give you a pick 'em winner. So you got Caitlin Clark, and then you pair that with anything. I mean, you go 1-for-1 in a pick 'em. Like, for example, let's just find Padres if it's up, which it is. Like you get anything right. Like you get let's say Michael King lower than 1.5 walks. I'm making it up. Then just going 1-for-1, guys, it's $33. You get
Free money.
$33 by going 1-for-1.
Yeah. So
and then you can pair it with more, like let's say Toddy homers, and then all of a sudden your $10 turns into 181.50, and so on and so forth. So you use promo code PODSWRAP, PADSWRAP. You get the free pick. You get the 50% deposit match up to $250 in bonus cash. And you can start winning, as soon as tomorrow, and you can play Padres Pick'ems with us because we're playing each and every day.
Yeah, I didn't do great tonight, John. It was not a great night for me.
I know, but that's because I think you had an RBI for Manny Machado, and I'm like, have you been watching?
Bases were loaded in the first inning.
Yeah, did you see what happened?
Yeah, first pitch double play. But was I that far off?
About a base.
He had one total base tonight. But hey, look, I tried to speak it into existence a little bit. Thought Manny was going to have an RBI. Didn't want to go as far as saying a home run, but I thought he was going to have an RBI tonight. Didn't happen. Jokic went off. Got it. Anthony Edwards? Yeah, not so much.
You won on Dylan Cease.
Dylan Cease. I wanted Dylan Cease, but you just that's underdog. Just move on.
Underdog Fantasy, promo code PODSWRAP. Get that 50% deposit match, plus you get the free special pick, plus the $250 in bonus cash up to that. So you got to take advantage. Scan that QR code or click the link in the description down below. JD Gacho, thank you. He says, is this series loss a little ouchy?
Yeah. You could start tomorrow. It turns into an no.
It's 100%. Good chat, JD Gacho. Thank you, Kai. Appreciate it. He's followed up by saying he agrees. Yeah. Fans get to be pissed. I just blame AJ for the contracts. Fair.
He's the guy.
Tough job, but it's his job. Yeah. That is fair. And then Eric, thank you for the super. He says the Braves aren't impossible to beat, but they need to win games against teams like the Rockies. Yeah, spot on. That's exactly right.
Yeah, because when you don't play well against the bad teams, it puts pressure on you to play well against the good teams. Now, to their credit, they have played well against the good teams this year. 12-8, 12-9.
Crazy on the road, and on the road they're 12-8, right?
I think so. Yeah, they're a better road team than a home team by far.
Mm-hmm. I need to look at that real quick.
Yeah, what I mean,
their home record. What is it right now?
You know what's crazy, John? Friday night when they had that walk-off versus the Dodgers, that was only their third win at night at Petco, right? This year?
Yeah, I think that's right.
Since then, they lost the last two nights. They lost Saturday night. So 1-4 night games this week at homestand.
I think at one point they were 2-10.
1-3.
So I think now they're 3-13.
Maybe in night games, yeah.
At home, they're 10-15 at home, 12-8 on the road, 11-9 against teams over 500.
Look, tomorrow they're going to win 7-2, just because it's during the day.
Right.
It's what it feels like. But
I think they're maybe 7-2, 7-3 during the day at home. They're really good.
Yeah, really good.
None of it makes sense, truthfully.
No,
Caleb, appreciate you. He says, absolute embarrassment tonight. How do you win 4 series in a row and lose to the Rockies? These stars need to live up to their contracts. Boom. There's 90 minutes and 2 sentences.
But Caleb, I mean, how great were those 4 series that they just won, though? I mean, Schildt, beautiful. If you missed Schildt, man, those 4 series wins in a row were like amazing.
Do you know the last time they did it, Jim?
I do, John, because Schildt said it.
I think it's bigger than the National League Championship Series because they had done it. They didn't even do it when they made the National League Championship Series.
That's right.
And by the way, this to your point real quick on the Schildt, hey, we won 4 series in a row. Well, you won the series 2-1. So when you lose 2 straight to the Rockies, you take 2 of those 4 series and move them aside because now those 2-1 series will add a loss. Now you're 2-2 in 2 of those series because you've lost 2 games to Rockies. Like it's not like you won Like, I get it. If they were 12-0 over a 12-game stretch, I'd be like, he's right. Like,
Yeah.
they did real work. They swept 4 straight series. We should shut the hell up. Like, you know what? He's probably right.
This is
He's
baseball.
probably right.
Yeah.
But they didn't. They were good in those 4 series. They were good in those 4 series. We gave them credit. We absolutely did. Therefore, it's our right to criticize them giving it back against the Rockies. I know. All right, one more thing here before we get out of here, which is to remind you about our friends at Aura. I have so many tabs open. Don't you? I mean, I could have like 100 tabs open, dude. Guys, Aura, I think I could use it off today. If you're looking to get healthier, ora.organic or click
Sleep
the link
pills.
in the description down below. I need sleep pills. I need immunity pills. I need that probiotic like I need water. I'll take it again in the morning. Great product for digestion, heart health, mental health. I need something for my mental health. I don't know if a probiotic is actually for mental health, but it's for mental clarity. They have pre-workout supplements. They have proteins for after workouts. They have omega-3 oils if you're taking fish oils. Their co-founder, Will, has been a long-time supporter of this channel. He really has. He's a native San Diegan. He loves the Padres. He loves this channel. If you support our work, check them out. Click the link in the description down below. Get healthier. They have so many more products. They have free shipping going on right now, as you can see by going to ora.organic. So if you support the channel, check them out.
Yeah, everything you need to live the healthy lifestyle that you guys crave is at Aura. They're the cleanest, healthiest place on the market for supplements for your everyday life. Go there right now, www.ora.organic. The pre-workouts, the protein powders for all you guys that work out there and women as well. It's fantastic. Every time I work out, I use the pre-workout and it's just great. So www.ora.organic. Pick up some stuff and you'll thank us later.
All right, join us tomorrow at 3 p.m. on John and Jim. Please subscribe to that channel as well, John and Jim 760. Did we get to 2,000? It's pinned at the top of the live chat right now.
Let me check. Hold on.
Which might be this way. I don't know.
If we get to 2,000, I'll open a Pokemon card pack.
Yes. Wow. That's very, what a great reason.
We're 6 away.
So you won't, because we're not going to sit here for the next 10 minutes probably.
It's just one pack of like 10 cards.
But I mean, are you going to wait for 6 subscribers to become subscribers?
No. But I do want to. I kind of want to open this. I kind of want to open it.
Then just do it. He says, "Pay me $30 million. I hit less than Manny. I spend my allowance at Petco."
Okay. All right, I'm opening up a pack of Pokemon cards. Here we go. Ready?
Okay.
Hold on. It is the Scarlet and Violet Palladia Evolved. Oh, John, you left. Fine, that's fine. I don't care. Who cares? All right, open up this pack. Here we go. Okay. Here we go. Ready? Please give me like a Charizard. I can't open this stupid thing. All right. Hold on. Okay, here we go. All right. Take that out. 1, 2, 3. All right. First card is a Magnemite.
Oh, nice, Paul.
Second card is a Weevil.
Was it signed?
No, it's not signed. Hold on. All right. Okay. I'm
eating mango and watching.
Weevil. All right. Third card. A basic energy. All right. Damn it. Fourth card is a great ball. Not the greatest.
That's great.
Here,
that thing has no value. That's like a freaking pawn in chess.
Not the greatest here. Next card is a Hoppip.
What?
A Hoppip. Ready? Here we go. Next card. What is this? A Makuhita. A Makuhita.
Okay.
Whatever the hell that is. All right. Next card. A Pinchurichin. The pincher reaching. All right. Next card is a fighting lot. Whatever the hell that is. All right. Oh my God. Next card is a Mabosif diff. I don't know what these are. Next card is a Farragoraph. All right. And the final card, which is usually a hologram card. All right. You ready for this, John? Here we go. Final card.
I've stopped paying attention. And there's a super we need to get to, but yeah.
Final card.
Okay.
Tell me if it's a good card or not.
Yes, it is. It's a red parrot.
Bro! The freaking
is that?
Charizard!
Is that good? What's it worth?
Probably like $2. Yo!
You're such an idiot. Aaron's gonna kill you. Hold on. Look at the screen. All right, let me get to the super here from JD Gaucho, who says, OT, if you've never been, Pepperdine's Eddy Field is a must visit for a game. The visual backdrop of the ocean behind the outfield wall is incredible. Maybe the Padres should play the Pepperdine Waves. Are they the Wave or the Waves? I think the Waves.
Are you serious right now?
You got to check out Point Loma, by the way, as well, JD Gaucho.
What the fuck?
Dude, you're acting like this card has any meaning to anyone.
Bro, I just pulled the freaking Charizard.
You just said it was worth $2.
In 30 years, it's going to be worth 10 G's, bro.
Well, then get your greasy paws off that thing.
I'm trying not to. I don't know what to do here. Hold on. I don't know what to do with it.
Look at HPV. Are you going to pay for the wedding?
Dude, what?
Is it seriously big or are you kidding?
I have no idea. It's just cool that it's
Okay.
a Charizard. Bro.
All right. Join us tomorrow. Subscribe. Hit the like button. Follow us on X. Thank you for the super thanks. Thank you to our sponsors. Thank you to Charizard. Thank you to Jim. We'll see you tomorrow on the radio. 3 p.m. John and Jim, San Diego Sports 760. Look at the $5 for Jim to get a life. Thank you, Moises. Well said, man.